Much more coming up on the hour, but just to tell you of some news that has broken in this hour of a Russian fighter jet which has hit a US military drone over the Black Sea. The drone is a Reaper drone, such as you can see on your screens now, and US military's European command said a pair of Soviet-era fighter jets intercepted the surveillance drone in international airspace, dumped fuel on it and damaged it so badly that US controllers had to ditch it in the sea. So clearly a serious situation there. Much more coming up for you. Now you're watching BBC News.
This is BBC World News. I'm Christian Fraser. Our top stories. A Russian fighter jet has brought down a US military surveillance drone, causing it to crash into the Black Sea. Washington calls the incident reckless. Stock markets in the United States and Europe have rebounded after Monday's turbulence caused by the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank. Supporters of Pakistan's opposition leader Imran Khan are in a standoff with police outside his home in Lahore as officers try to serve him with an arrest warrant.
It's not the law of the land, it's the law of the jungle.
Thousands of tons of rubbish are piling up on the streets of Paris because waste collectors are on strike over proposals to raise their pension age. Hello, you're very welcome to BBC World News. The US military says a Russian fighter jet has brought down an American drone over the Black Sea. The US military's European command said one of the Russian fighter planes struck the propeller of the unmanned US aircraft, causing it to crash. President Biden has been briefed about the incident. There's been no comment yet from Russia. Let's go to Washington, speak to the BBC's Gary O'Donoghue, who's been monitoring this story for us. So what do we know so far, Gary? Christine Bezina, that's very useful. Thank you very much indeed. Now, it seems like the panic in the markets is over for now. Stock markets in the United States and Europe have rebounded somewhat today after showing some dramatic falls yesterday after the collapse of the US-based Silicon Valley Bank. US stock markets opened higher and some banking stocks have shown, in fact, some strong gains. It comes as the boss of Silicon Valley Bank announced that the bank is conducting business as usual within the United States and expects to resume cross-border transactions in the coming days. The American government has promised customers that it will guarantee customers' savings. Let's speak then to our correspondent, Samira Hussain, who is actually on tape. So let's have a listen to how Samira Hussain has been judging what's happened today. Dr. John Danielson, thank you very much indeed. Police in Pakistan have used tear gas and water cannon to disperse supporters of the opposition leader Imran Khan from outside his residence in the city of Lahore. The clashes broke out after police officers arrived reportedly to arrest the former Prime Minister following a warrant that had been issued by a court. He is facing allegations that he incorrectly declared gifts received from foreign dignitaries while he was the Prime Minister. He says the case is politically motivated. Our Pakistan correspondent Caroline Davies has been speaking to the former Prime Minister, who said he is ready to face jail time. Very interesting. Caroline Davies, thank you very much. Piles of rubbish are stacking up on the streets of Paris because of a garbage collectors strike which has entered its second week. Some are concerned the problem is trashing the image of the City of Love and attracting the rats. It probably smells pretty choice as well. Let's cross to our correspondent Hugh Schofield, who is there. Is this affecting all the arrondissements across Paris, or some more than others? times, fraught political times, as ever in Paris. Hugh, lovely to see you. Thank you very much indeed for that. Just to remind you, if you are just joining us, about our top story, we've been hearing in the last hour or so that a Reaper drone, an American Reaper drone, operating in international waters over the Black Sea, has been forced down by a Russian jet. First it poured fuel on the Reaper, and then we're told that it flew behind it, clipped the propeller and forced it into the waters below. Quite a stern response coming from the White House. Plenty on that on the BBC website. I'll be back very shortly with the headlines. This is BBC World News. The headlines. A Russian fighter jet has downed a US military surveillance drone, causing it to crash into the Black Sea. The US military's European command described it as a reckless and unprofessional intercept. Stock markets in the United States and Europe have rebounded after turbulence caused by the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank. The deputy director of the IMF said the failure of the bank did not appear to threaten a global shock. Supporters of Pakistan's main opposition leader Imran Khan have clashed with police outside his home as officers tried to arrest him on a court order. Police fired tear gas shells to disperse the supporters. Thousands of tons of rubbish are piling up on the streets of Paris as waste collectors strike over proposals to raise the pension age. They currently retire at the age of 57 because of difficult working conditions.
Now on BBC World News, Hard Talk asks tough questions in interviews with people who are shaping the news.
Welcome to Hard Talk. I'm Stephen Sacker. Finding your voice as a writer, cutting through the cacophony of noise in 21st century culture is not easy. It helps if you have a talent for writing. It also helps if you have something to say which is powerful, authentic, and confronts tough questions about the human condition. My guest, American writer and academic Roxane Gay, has most definitely cut through with her books, which include unflinching testimony on the impact of being raped, on fatness, and the meaning of feminism. How scary is this level of self-exposure? Roxane Gay, welcome to Hard Talk.
Stephen, thank you for having me.
Well, it's a great pleasure to have you here. You've written with extraordinary...
With apologies to viewers of Hard Talk, we're going to take you straight to Washington, to the Pentagon. There is a press conference that is just starting in relation to the news that a Russian fighter jet has brought down a drone over the Black Sea. Let's listen in.
Questions afterwards and then must depart. I'd ask that you please limit your questions to AUKUS, given that's her focus here today.
Extraordinary.
That gives you some idea.
Absolutely. We'll have plenty more on this. Cash is coming out with Outside Source in a second. Just to remind you that the State Department has summoned the Russian ambassador to Washington. The Pentagon telling us in the last few minutes that there have been intercepts in the past, but on this occasion, Russian pilots were acting unsafely and unprofessionally, and they forced this drone into the waters of the Black Sea. Plenty more to come on that story. You can, of course, follow it as well on the BBC website. You're watching BBC News.